Hello, you wonderful people. So for today's video, as you can obviously tell by the title, I am talking about the news that dropped like a few days ago that Daredevil was canceled on Netflix, which Daredevil situation was going to be the tipping point for all of this. Because for one, Daredevil is the flagship. It's what started all of this on the Netflix Marvel front. So it's like it being gone now it kind of sets the tone of like, yeah, everything else is gone. I mean, they'd already canceled obviously Luke Cage and Iron Fist, so that's already two. I mean, technically three if you count Defenders as well. So it's like, but Daredevil was the tipping point because I think everyone was waiting to see what Netflix did about the Daredevil situation. That would fully determine Marvel and Netflix's the whole relationship going forward. I mean, obviously there's the whole Disney streaming service and everything going forward, so obviously it was going to change anyway, but everyone was so curious to see what was going to happen because once again it's like, oh, when it's all said and done, what are you going to do about the Marvel stuff when Disney pulls all their stuff? It's like, oh, they're going to stay, and it's like obviously they're not staying long enough because Disney hasn't even pulled everything yet. And all these shows are already getting canceled. So that's the thing, once again, no one knows exactly why everything's getting canceled. I heard from someone, I don't remember who it was exactly, but I think the number that was getting tossed around was like Daredevil's first week was down like 57% viewership wise. I'm not sure whether it was like in comparison to season 2 or season 1, but once again, it all comes down to that. Once again, I talked about it before, like Daredevil had gotten great reviews from what I could tell, like in general, like the general reception was season 3 was really good. Like a lot of people, some people even went as far as being like, man, it might be the best season. But once again, that doesn't mean diddly squat. Just because something is well received doesn't change the fact is if not enough people are watching it, it doesn't matter, you know? But that was still going to be the point. Like even if something's doing well, how, will they keep, going forward with a lot of these stuff? And it's like, as you can see, if it's not being watched, they're going to cut it. Because it's interesting because amongst all the shows, like when we look at everything, like the time frame in between, it took like a little over a month, which is kind of roughly how long it took before they canceled Iron Fist. But Luke Cage was like a couple months. So I don't think they're immediately cutting everything. Like, I don't know. It's hard to say because it's not like Netflix is really saying like, oh yeah, this is exactly why. Because at this point, all this circulating the internet is speculation picked up from here and this and that. So the fact is that Luke Cage took the longest to cancel makes me go, it seems like they might have wanted to hold on to that. It just, I don't know. But at the same time, the fact is that they canceled this like almost a month later. This in particular, Daredevil, it makes me go, they might just be like, yeah, we're cutting our losses. Like canceling Iron Fist, they were probably like, you know what, Luke Cage isn't getting a lot of views, cut that too. So it's like they're probably, and I talked about this before because that was what was already speculated, was like they're just gonna do the obligations they've already got set for it. So like Punisher season 2 and Jessica Jones season 3, and that's it. I think no matter how well they do, even if they're received well, I think they will get canceled too. So the big question going forward then is like, well, what happens to these shows? Are they dead? Will Disney reboot them, put them on their streaming service? Once again, I highly doubt that. That's kind of the thought process some people have, but I'm like, that stuff is MA, so I doubt Disney's going to continue that content on their streaming service because I've said that time and time again, the highest rating they'll go most likely is PG-13 because that's where most of the Marvel movies stand rating wise. But these are MH TV shows, especially a lot of their content, especially something like Punisher is like, how are you going to put that on a Disney streaming service? And even just that, like take the other shows, like take Jessica Jones, the content that goes out in Jessica Jones, like I don't see them putting that on Disney. Once again, they could completely prove me and anyone else wrong on this front, but that's just how I personally feel and how I look at the situation. Other thoughts was kind of like, oh, because they don't, once again, they don't own Hulu, but they have shares in Hulu or something like that. So, hey, maybe Hulu will be where they put their more adult content. I don't know. Maybe we could see everything transferring over. The thing is, at this point in time, I think it was like Disney hadn't really said anything. Disney and Marvel hadn't really said anything. There was one article I saw, like, I'm just saying I saw the title of, so I'm admitting I didn't even read it. It was like, it's not definitely going to the streaming service. Daredevil is. So that's why I'm like, okay. That's why I'm not saying like anything's officially set in stone because I don't think anything official is said. Like, if they have any plans of pulling these properties, Marvel hasn't really said anything, at least at the time of me recording this. So I think because Marvel themselves probably hasn't decided what they're going to do, because this is also on the TV front, and once again, there's that split from the movies and the TV show. I think someone had talked about, oh, they're bringing these into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is because all of this is the Marvel Cinematic Universe, even though it is like the televised Marvel Cinematic Universe. So anything being canceled in that universe, I highly doubt they're going to bring it into the movies in some shape or form. Maybe they can, maybe they will, because that also comes down, like another thing that has to also be thought of too. It's like, well, what about Inhumans? That whole thing was originally supposed to be a movie, but then it got turned into a TV show. It didn't work out as a TV show. What are they going to do with that? Are they completely dropping that project, or do they plan to kind of reboot that later on in the timeline with, like, you know, making it a movie and just trying to completely erase it as a TV show? Like, how do they plan on doing that? I don't know. My thought before this, like I talked about this before, was if anything, I probably could see them like rebooting these, but in an animated form, in some shape or form, like maybe turning this into like a Defenders TV show, potentially, animated wise, but I don't know. That was always kind of my thought process behind it. So, like I said, at the end of the day, I could be completely wrong about Punisher and Jessica Jones. Maybe they will keep them, but at this point in time, like, that's only like a little part in the back of my head that's hopeful. But majority of my brain's like, yeah, don't get your hopes up. Like, this is pretty much officially the end at this point in time. But like I said, at the end of the day, it also comes down to what Disney does, what Disney/Marvel does going forward with those properties, if they decide to in any shape or form. I hope they do. Once again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I hope that they continue these continuities, but I feel like if they were to take these properties back, they'd get rebooted. So, because to me, I'd look at it as the same thing as like the whole Spider-Man thing. Rather than continuing the Andrew Garfield continuity in The Amazing Spider-Man, they rebooted it and created the Tom Holland, you know, continuity. If I had my way, at the very least, I would want Netflix to end everything off with a Defenders, like a final season, just kind of like giving closure to this whole situation. I mean, it has been shown that, I guess, with enough push, there could be a little bit closure. A great situation would be like the Sense8 situation, where it's like they gave it a finale. To be fair, that's a finale. That's a 2-hour finale, well, like 2.5-hour finale. That's different from doing another season. I mean, to be fair, they could do like an 8-episode thing. I prefer to kind of do a little bit longer just to wrap everything up. I highly doubt they would do that, because once again, at this point, it's just kind of like no Defenders either. So it's just, but I would like it if they just decided, like, okay, to kind of give some closure rather than making a new season for all of these things. We're going to do one final Defender season with everyone potentially. That'd be sick. That'd be awesome. But I highly doubt that would happen. But at the very least, I would want that in some shape or form. But then again, it'll probably be like, no, with where everyone's stories left off, that'd be too much to try and squeeze into one show, because a lot of stuff would have to be dropped. You'd be like, wait, how did we get here to here with everyone's characters, in particular like Luke's situation and Danny's situation. I feel like you could do it with, you know, Daredevil situation, but it also comes down to where Frank's situation leaves him at the end of season 2 of Punisher, as well as Jessica Jones. Because I think the only person that didn't really leave too much on a cliffhanger was probably Daredevil. The fact is, you could see that they worked it up to be there being a season 4, but everything has like an ending where it's not too much of a cliffhanger. Like, only thing, spoilers, but you know, the whole Bullseye situation is the only thing they've really got, like, being like, oh yeah, we see that set up essentially. But everyone else's situation ended on a cliffhanger. But like I said, we'll see what they do with Jessica Jones and Punisher. Ultimately, that is my opinion about everything. Let me know yours in the comments down below, how you feel about this whole situation, as well as where you think all of this is going in the future. Are you pretty much set in stone, like, yep, they're canceling Jessica Jones and Punisher as well? And if they do, where do you see all these properties going forward? Do you see them going nowhere, or do you think Disney/Marvel will do something with them because they are popular enough to bring back in some shape or form, whether it be reboot them or continue them on a different platform? Like I said, I'd love to get your opinion. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about in this video. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.